What is something you know, but you're not supposed to know? My dad had cancer and didn't want to tell anyone. My mother told me and I had to pretend that I didn't know. When my mum's cancer came back, she made me swear not to tell her mum. She got sicker and sicker and I still wasn't allowed to tell. On the phone, Nana was begging me to tell her if it had come back and I couldn't. I told mum after that call I couldn't lie anymore. It tore me up. This was in the 90s. Remember having a family computer? My little sister got caught looking at pronoun and my dad installed a tracker / changed her password. The tracker caught a few pronoun sites and my sister got in trouble for them. My sister was hanging out with me at the times the tracker said, and my dad was the only one who knew her password. My dad used my sister's computer account to watch pronoun and then framed her for it. Edit. Fixed computer. Don't type while falling asleep, folks. My grandma has been a hooker most of her life. My dad told me that my mom has embezzled a lot of money from the places she used to work. They both also did drugs. My dad claimed he did it for recreation and could stop anytime. Mom was different and he said she had to have it. This explains her fits of rage growing up. Oh, ask dad how mom never got caught, and he won't give any more details. My cousin has a half sister she doesn't know about. The sister is a stripper in Atlantic City with 3 kids. Everyone knows but her. Just found out from my mom. My boyfriend's mom used to service all the men at a local fire department, unmarried or married. Some of the men even got in trouble and were suspended. Your boyfriend's mom is a badge bunny. They are called chippers in my area. A few years ago a married cop was shot in the head and murdered here, and the primary witness was his chippy who he was having an Una with that day. They wound up not being able to take the case to trial in large part because she had slept with too much of the force, and it's a large force. And several investigators had to be fired for ducking the witness. Too embarrassing for the cops, so the county uncharacteristically pled a cop killer real quick and quiet. A couple things actually. Got my dad drunk, and he basically told me I was his biggest disappointment, and he wishes he could trade me for his previous son who died at age 2. He does not remember this statement. Also, I know he slept around on my mom. I helped my siblings clean out his car after he became disabled, and we found a box of condoms with only 3 left, and he and my mother hadn't slept in the same bed for almost 10 years, so we safely assumed what was going on. Edit. Sorry I haven't had the time to reply to everyone. I just wanted to say thank you for all the kind words, everyone. It's something that's haunted me over the years, but moving out of the house and being around people who care about me for me has helped. Just wanna let y'all know you're great people too, and it's nice to get stuff like this off my chest. My dad had cancer. The family thought I didn't need to know that since I was in college. My mom had a child out of wedlock and gave him up for adoption. This was the early 70s. My family keeps me out of the loop in important life events for bullshit as reasons like those. Do I not deserve to help bear the emotional burden? It does more harm than good in the long run for me. Best of luck to you and your family though. When I was 6 years old I had leukemia, and it broke my family's heart, and they tried to hide it from me, but each night I heard my mother tearing up before she slept beside me. I didn't know what I had, but with all the doctors I thought this is the end. Me thinking I was doing the right thing, I zoned out, so that when I die they will miss me less. But here I'm in September, I will be 18. Exclamation mark. My great grandparents were also brother and sister. I don't want to believe it, but I totally do. My mom told me of a couple in her hometown who later found out they were siblings. They had somehow been separated at a very young age during WW2 and met again when they were older, not knowing they were siblings. Somehow it was figured out after they'd had a few kids. A family member is HIV positive. Doesn't want rest of family to know. When he broke down and told my mom, I overheard. She has passed, and he has no idea I know. My parents regret adopting me. Bowers once sent me a list of wages for everyone in my department right up to the VP. It included my boss, my boss's boss, etc. At first glance, it looked harmless, but they had only filtered the list by job title. so I wouldn't see anyone above me. I told my boss, and I'm pretty sure the person who sent it just gotta do Excel better next time talk. That my not married to my dad mother enjoys threesomes. She's not the most tech savvy person in the world and accidentally posted a threesome request publicly on Facebook. That my dad wrote several suicide notes. I feel for you. I hope he gets help. This might get buried, but here goes. As someone with bipolar, I can understand the thought process that someone goes through to get to this point. Slowing down to write what is bothering you can be a useful exercise. I often overblow things that are trivial when I'm in a low and gloss over issues that could be a problem in mania. I encourage anyone with a mental health disorder to take up journals as a habit and also start to learn to meditate. Getting your sheet down on paper and looking back at it might be how your dad helps himself. In saying all this, please encourage him to talk to someone he trusts often. How my parents met. Mom was a stripper and dad just happened to go there. Just tonight, my friend who I haven't seen in a long time invited me to get drinks after work, then cancelled because she was too tired. I found the photos a few minutes ago of her and some mutual friends out for drinks. So apparently I wasn't invited and she found a better option. She didn't realize I'd see the pictures. My mother-in-law got drunk once and told me that my sister-in-law has always been a real CNT and that if she could go back she would have made my father-in-law wear a condom on the night they conceived her. My dad killed himself almost 20 years ago. At the time my mum told me it was because he was having gay affairs with people and he couldn't live in that sinful lifestyle anymore. Turns out she cheated on him and that was what sent him over the edge. I only know this because I was finally able to read a copy of his note last year. My boss's salary. I was working in his office in the night as my desktop crashed way back in 2004. His salary slip was lying around on his table. Saw it and was astonished at the money he was making. That my uncle's son is not his son. His then wife was banging her cousin and boom, baby. To this day, my cousin doesn't know and treats his dad, who raised him, as if he were his own, and had never said a word about it to anyone but me, like she'd because of the lies his mother spread about him. I kind of want to tell him to do a DNA test so that he'll know and maybe, just maybe realize his mother isn't the saint she made herself out to be. Edited to add, he knows his son isn't his because he is completely infertile. I might be a year older than I and everyone else have been made to believe. I was flipping through an old baby book of mine that I found when my family was moving and found an ultrasound dated in August the year before I was born with my name written above it. My birthday is in September and the baby in the picture was very developed, so there's no possible way it's just an early ultrasound. On one hand, my mom is mentally ill and always had attachment issues with me growing up. I know she had issues getting pregnant and treated me like she had to protect me with her life when I was little. It would make sense that she would want me in the house with her for an extra year. I also developed really early, learned to read and write months before everyone else my age, and got my period when I was 10, not super uncommon, but still on the early side. On the other hand, this seems like an extremely difficult and illegal thing to do. There are other possible explanations. Maybe the ultrasound date was misprinted, or maybe my mom had a miscarriage. That would be another thing I wasn't supposed to know though. The restaurant I worked at had some pretty solid sweet potato fries. They come frozen in a bag. Everyone thinks we make it in-house. I was accidentally given access to all salaries for a large hospital. Finding out some doctors made $80k and others $800k was pretty eye-opening. My supervisor is really close to getting fired. Upper management isn't supposed to talk about it, but they do. Probably because we'd all quit if we thought she was staying. She sucks.